Sun's just coming up over here in the morning. And talking about sorrow is super hard to talk about. And nobody really talks about it. I mean, I don't really hang out too much with anyone, just family, but we don't talk about it. And that, why don't we talk about it very often? We do talk about it sometimes, but not very often. We don't talk about it very often because it's super painful, right? It is painful, and beyond just being painful, as if that wasn't bad enough, it can make us have all these other emotions we weren't expecting, because the last thing I want to do is be sad or think about sadness. It really is the last thing. I would much rather be roller skating at the roller skating rink, or having fun ping pong challenge or something, something like that. Yeah, so I feel the need to talk about, in the best way I know how to talk about, the many aspects of sadness and sorrow. And there's a lot. I like to think of the story of Romeo and Juliet, how it's filled with passion and a bunch of sorrow. And that's probably, I would say that it's the most terrifying to fall in love so hardcore like that, I would imagine. Well, I mean, I don't have to imagine. I've experienced falling in love super hard. I have fallen in love with my kids, with certain gentlemen. Not very many have actually held a space in my heart that where they got in, I guess only one has really gotten into that space, and then it didn't work out. But I'm glad I got to experience it. Super glad that I've experienced what I've experienced, because I never wanted to live a vanilla life. I wanted to go after my dreams. And what are my dreams? That's quite personal. What are your dreams? I dream. Well, it would be so great to say that there wouldn't be any more suffering, but is that possible? I do not think that is possible, because suffering comes in the slightest of ways. You get a sliver in your finger, that is suffering, and maybe that's the worst kind of suffering, is when it's right in your finger. So when you're suffering in the heart, that's different, The finger is one thing, but the heart is another. Suffering makes a really good story. Let's face it. I don't know if you've seen the movie Angela's Ashes. It's the, true story of the writer. Oh man, I forgot his name. He's an Irishman, and anyways, it's a really good story. There's a book and a movie called Angela's Ashes, and he grows up in complete squalor, and his dad is a heavy drinker. I mean, how many people relate to the story where I had the perfect life and nothing ever happened? Who writes, who watches that story? Where is that? Everybody loves a good story. And that usually means some heartbreak, it's some depth. You know, hey, how did you get out of this crazy situation? What happened? Who was doing what and where, little kitty? So, I do have a podcast if anybody's interested, but I can't do any more episodes on the podcast. It's on Spotify. It's also my name, Annette Shinnicky, if anybody wants to listen. But I don't know how to figure out how to set up the new system. And it's just, my phone is stuck in a loop, and so I'm going to use my YouTube channel. You know, it's not really a podcast, but it's kind of a podcast. It's just hanging out with you guys. I think Kitty might be in the tree, climbing around in there. Ooh. Now she's out. Look at her. Hey. Wow. First is trying to chew on a toy, it looks like. Is that a toy? Hey, this isn't... I don't think this is a toy. No.
Ursa, you stay right there. Ursa, get the little partner.
Naughty girl. Hi. Yes, so we love a beautiful sorrow. An ugly sorrow we don't love so much. Or a ugly sadness. But a beautiful sadness helps us feel connected. It makes us, you know, a really good love story or a tale of courage and bravery. You know, saving your best friend. Something like that. Those are things that we need to hear. I don't just want to hear them. I need to hear them. Those stories. You know, who doesn't love the story about Lassie? You know, man's best friend is dog. Here's the dog. And there's the other dog we're babysitting. Ooh, hi, babies. Little lady. The kitty's trying to sneak out. I'm about ready to go watch Dexter with Jared and Bo. This little lady, she loves this other dog named Yogi. Oh my goodness. The character of Dexter is, as I've said before, a complicated guy. Trying to fit into a world that he, you know, feels that he doesn't understand. He only understands his obsession. Or actually, he's trying to understand his obsession. He's curious about why, or how to fit in, you know, so that he doesn't get caught, obviously. But it's more than that. Obsessions are kind of interesting because it's like, well, do people get obsessed about? There's all kinds of weird things that we can get obsessed about. You know? What is your obsession? I mean, do people have more than one? Why is it always considered bad to be obsessed? What if you are obsessed with health? Health, wealth, rest, you know, we look at obsession as a bad word, I think. And I don't think that should be the case. I'm obsessed with finding out the answers to the questions that you have. How about that? What if you could have all the answers? I always tell my kids, I used to anyways, that I could give you 1,000,000 answers. It doesn't mean it's the right one. Any of my answers might not be the right answer for anyone else. It might only be the right answer for me.
Body parts out in the open, exactly.
It's anxiety living. That's it? Okay.
Yeah, what would that be?
Give me poopy. No poopy.
Those closest to poopy puppy.
Boys. The
13th, yeah.
So good.
It's got wallpaper.
That shoebox there. I thought you might like to have one. She loved taking pictures. Documented every bridge cable played with Harry and Square.
Yeah. We're gonna go hit some. We ran it, nothing came back at a quote. We don't. Yeah, that's gonna be rough.
I feel bad that it's like
Here is his counsel.
I never been days to wedding.
For snacks.
Poopy puppy. She loves you.
Going poopy, you probably poop everywhere.
You do.
Are you being a bitch?
When she tried getting you, said, no, I can't get fat if you eat me too.
Fucking bitch.
We need to take down the kill room.
No, I'm good.
Vice President for the wedding ring, for the jewelry store.
Hypothetically, let's fucking he's doing it and do that because he has no real sex.
Ain't no candy.
You don't like me so much anymore, do you?
Sergeant Angel
Batista, agent here. Make it up to you.
Is ever gonna ask me to help you, you're not ready.
I'm not. Oh, so you that's not ready. Huh? Because we could have dealt with this fatal problem like 3 times already.
Incident in Monaco when we stabbed a cab driver.
He touched my sister. Sadly, he survived.
That's a heartbreaking story.
Something.
King will be
He turns to Joe.
scared to death.
Hello?
Shit.
Robert never called me back. Glad I amused you.
Not happy.
I don't know. They waited an hour, they called, doesn't answer.
Oye, te digo.
Go ahead. You.
Like sexual.
Shit, look.
I'm going to bed. Tired.